In the name of the Lunenburg Water District of Lunenburg, Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the voters of the Lunenburg Water District to meet in the Lunenburg Water District office, 496 Massachusetts Ave, in said Lunenburg, Saturday, the 27th day of March, at 10 o'clock in the forenoon, then and there to act on the following articles.
Thank you. Okay, the articles are before us. We'll take up Article 1 at the end of the meeting, so the vote can be tallied. Article 2 is before us.
Yeah, where is it? Let me get it. I don't have Article 2. It's right here. All right, Article 2 is to accept the reports of the district office. Is this on? Guess not, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Speak right up.
To accept the reports of the district offices.
Is that seconded?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Article 3 is before us.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the district appropriate from the income of the district the sum of $1,352,254.63 to be used to defray the regular annual operational and maintenance costs of the district for the next fiscal year, and fix the salary and compensation of the several elected officers of the district as all set forth in detail in the maintenance and operational budget for the next year.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? If not, I'll take a vote. All those in favor of Article 3, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Article 4.
I move the district authorize the treasurer, with the approval of the commissioners, to borrow money in anticipation of revenue for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th of 2022, in accordance with the provisions of the general law, Chapter 44, Section 4, and/or acts and amendments thereto, and to renew any note or notes as may be given for the period of less than 1 year in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 17, as amended. No, still on.
Second, thank you. Any discussion on Article 4? If not, I'll take a motion, or I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Article 5 is before us.
I move that the district appropriate from the water enhancement account of the district the sum of $50,000 for the purchase of materials and equipment for the repair of water mains.
Okay, is that seconded? Any discussion? If not, I'll take a vote. All those in favor of Article 5, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? So moved. Article 6 is before us.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the district appropriate the sum of $800,000 by borrowing pursuant to GL General Law 44, Section 9, and related sections, or any other authority for the purpose of defraying the expense of replacing the water main on Massachusetts Ave in the area of Townsend Harbor Road and Arbor Street, thereby authorizing the district to issue bonds and notes therefore, and otherwise do all things reasonably ordered to such purpose.
Is that seconded? Second. Okay, any discussion? Like to speak a little bit on that, or not? You're all set.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. We're about to spend $800,000 and nobody has a question?
I think it's a great idea. That needs to be done, yeah.
Okay. It is an area of Mass Ave that we have a number of breaks. It's very inconvenient because it is a dead-end main that feeds all the way down to the area, I believe, of 1790,
Yep, Elmwood Road.
and
Minor Road.
Elmwood Road and up into Cortland Circle. So this is one of the spots that we highlighted that really needed repair. We don't have the money in our regular operating budget to do so, so we would need to borrow it to do so. That's what the article is presenting before you. Yep, Mr. Bertram.
Yep.
Oliver from 312 Town Harbor Road. In the last year's report, we talked about replacement of the water main on Massachusetts Ave as well as possible replacement on Rolling Acres Road, and I'm just wondering if that replacement was done, and secondly, if $800,000 will cover the entire replacement cost.
I will defer that question to the superintendent.
Rolling Acres has not yet been replaced. Actually, when we put that $50,000 that you guys just voted on, that goes into account so we can generate enough money to do projects. We have talked to DPW about the paving of the road, so we're doing the baseline setup to do the water main on Rolling Acres. So we're thinking we'll do a two-phase project. We'll do the worst section, which is Rolling Acres up to Meadow Lane, and then maybe the top section in the second phase. The $800,000 that you guys just also voted on was just for Mass Ave. So we did two different scenarios, projects. The worst section is from Townsend Harbor Road to Arbor Street. That was in the area of $400,000 to do that part of the project. And then the best way to do it is to go from Northfield Road to Arbor Street, or just past Arbor Street. So that's the $800,000 covers the full, the best way to do the project. So, but the $800,000 doesn't cover the cost of Rolling Acres at all.
Oliver from again. Just a question on additional replacements. Do you have a long-term plan for other replacement of lines, and do you have any idea what the impact is going to be to water usage rates?
We did a capital improvement plan in, it's probably 8-9 years ago. So there was significant number of projects that needed to be replaced or upgraded. The budget cannot support that. The water rates would probably triple if we did all those projects. So the way we're trying to do it is just to, get the worst ones for now and work our way into it as loans come up and get paid off, then we can, apply for new loans and do those other projects. But yeah, we cannot afford to fix all the mains that need to be replaced. We would love to do it. I don't like getting called out at night, so I would love to do it.
Any other discussion? If not, we're ready to vote. All those in favor of Article 6, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved, thank you. Article 7 is before us.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Ross.
Dave Rogers, 82 Highland Street. Mr. Moderator, I move that the voters of the district advise the Board of Water Commissioners that they, the voters, do not support collaboration or negotiation by the board with the owner of the Arrow Estate property on Howard Street for provision of water to that property while said property has not been included by due legal means within the district, whether such provision is direct or through an intermediate water taker within the district or redistribution outside the district.
Second, thank you. Alex Burke.
I would ask, Mr. O'Brien has asked to speak as a visitor, and I would like to allow him to ask the few questions that he has of the district. there is no opposition. And then we'll move into discussion on the article.
Good morning. My name is Kevin O'Brien. I am the owner of the Arrow Estates subdivision. I've had 3 questions to ask the board today, and they are on this board right here. The first one is, can the board, the water district, allow me to bring, at my sole expense, a water main from the closest water source, Field Street, to my property at 318 Howard Street? The second question is, can the board allow me to bring water from 318 Howard Street, which is right here, into my property to a meter pit on the plan that's dated October 19, 2020, which you've all seen when you were at the January meeting? The third question is, can the board allow me to sell more water from that water pit to my property that is not allowed in the district? Those are the 3 questions I've asked the board to answer, and that's what I'm asking. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Any other discussion? Yes, please respond to the mic, please.
Yep.
Paul?
Oliver, 10 Howard Road. It was very clear at several meetings that this commission has had, based on legal counsel advice, there is no obligation to provide water to anywhere outside of the district. If the property owner wants to have water supplied to their property within the district, there is nothing to prevent that. However, distribution from that site outside of the district, I believe, would require a change in the active legislation that established this district. The voters have spoken. This should not be allowed, and I would encourage everyone to vote yes on this article. I'm sorry, what is a yes or a no on this article?
Yes.
Yes, so vote yes.
Okay, further discussion?
I'm Alonzo, 284 Lancaster Avenue. I was here as many people here were at the January meeting, where, as Ms. Bertram said, everyone made it pretty clear in the 2-to-1, more than 2-to-1 majority of the reasons why they didn't support extending the district. I think the article as read by the mover indicates that that would support that decision, because the sale of water through a metering pit, as the developer would like, basically negates the purpose of having a district at all. That means you could basically put an intermediary and sell water anywhere you wanted. That, I don't think is the intent of the legislation. I don't think that was the intent of the people in the district, and it certainly wasn't the intent of the voters in January. So I support the article and wish everyone and encourage people to vote yes on this.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Katie Adams, Peninsula Drive. One thought that came to my mind as we've been following this topic, and I would support yes to this amendment, is the future residents of the O'Brien properties. If somebody is to move in there once a home is built 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I don't understand who they would turn to if they had a problem with their water. You know, it would all lie in the hands of like a long-term connection with the developer, and I'm not so sure I've seen an example of that in action. And so just even for the future residents, I think this would be, not this amendment, but this concept is a unsettling idea. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Rod.
in my view, Mr. Moderator, this proposal by the developer is just an effort to circumvent the intent and the rules and regulations of the water district. And I feel very, very strongly about this. And I would hope that people would vote yes on my motion, because this would hopefully just put this thing to bed once and for all. I mean, how many times do we have to vote on this thing? We've done it, as Mr. Alonso has said, and, you know, this certainly, I hope, would put it to bed.
Jeff.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Esposito.
All right, I have two questions. One is for Mr. Rogers. Being a lengthy commissioner of the Water District, what's your opinion of Mr. O'Brien running water to his land that is in the district on Howard Street? Would that be a yes or a no?
Mr. Moderator,
All right, Mr. Rogers.
thank you for acknowledging the fact that I was a lengthy participant in the district. I wish I was as tall as I should be.
Well, you're shrinking down.
To answer your question directly, the rules and regulations allow for providing water to the district property. Okay? But in this particular case, it would be, I think, awful cost to the district, and I don't think it makes any sense. And especially with the intent that to put in a pit so that he can redirect the water. So the answer to your question very directly is no. I wouldn't support that because it doesn't make any sense for the district, and I wouldn't vote yes if I were up there.
Well, what's the legality of not allowing him to run water to a piece of property that's in the district? Let's forget about the meter pit for now or whatever, but I'm talking about if there was one house on that piece of property was in the district, could he run that line to that property?
I believe, under the current rules and regulations, he could. But there is a cost-benefit analysis that would have to be done because the line would have to be maintained, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's not as easy as that. But the philosophical answer to that question is yes, he has the right to bring it to that property and that property only.
Okay, now my last question is there anybody in the room that is against Mr. O'Brien running his water main to a legally piece of property that he owns that's in the district on Howard Street? If you oppose that, please raise your hand.
No, I don't,
Speak up a little bit, John.
yeah. Hold on. So
That
I
was a
believe the
good
question
question,
that
Espo.
Mr. Esposito
That
was
was a good
asking
question.
is if anybody was opposed to him running water to his property within the district. I don't feel that's a valid question. If somebody wants to speak to it, they can. Because I believe due to our acts, anybody within the district boundaries is entitled to water. As Mr. Rogers alluded to, there are some considerations that we would have to look into, and me personally, I would want to have more information before I would approve such an expansion. Mr. Moderator, through you, we have a person at the mic.
All right. Seth Fair, 291 Howard Street. I would believe that he would have the right to run water to that one property, and yet what everybody else would be afforded would be a 1-inch domestic service to that property.
Okay. Anybody else? I don't know if there's anybody else.
You mean at Mr. O'Brien's expense?
If he's willing to pay for that, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
That's what I can run to my property, right?
well, he's not obligated to run a line to your property.
You're not, but that's what I can run to my property. I have
Oh, yeah, if the water main goes by your house, nobody can stop you from hooking onto it.
If there's a 6-inch water main that runs by my house, can I run a 6-inch water main into my property?
You can if you want to pay the connection fee.
And then redistribute out of the district?
No.
No.
But we're not talking about redistributing off of Mr. O'Brien's piece of land that's in the district. What I'm talking about right now is the piece of land that he owns that's in the district. Right now, I don't think we should be talking about anything else until that comes up.
Well, let's take the games out of it. Why don't you need a 6, 8, 4-inch water main run to one house lot?
Well, you don't, but he can run a 24-inch up there if the water district approves it and wants it.
Sure, but why? What's the follow-on?
Well,
Okay, we're gonna have,
Mr. Moderator, if I may. First, he needs to be allowed to run the main. And, Mr. Mayor, I know you have some experience in this. If you're gonna dig a trench, you might as well put a sizable pipe in for fire protection. But again, this is all hypothetical. There's no decisions made on whether to run any water up Howard Street at this time.
Mr. Moderator,
yes, Mr. Ross.
I'd like to issue a point of order on this, because this is a hypothetical situation which is clearly outside
Right.
the motion that I made, and I
can't.
would encourage that we keep focused on
The
on
article.
what we're talking about. Thank you.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep.
We're all set?
Yep.
Any further discussion? Yes.
John Lowen, 233 West Townsend Road. I just have a couple of questions. As this has been proposed, Mr. O'Connor running a water line at his expense from Beale Street to his property, is he going to own that line, or is the town, the water district going to own it when we're all done?
Any line installed within the district, I believe, is the district's property and responsibility. Correct.
All right. If it's running by my house and I have no desire to hook into it, am I going to be charged a betterment because it's in the street?
No, you will not.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Mr. O'Brien,
The only cost you would incur is if you did want to hook into it, would be the connection fee and the cost of doing the install.
Just because it's in the street, everybody along that line is not going to have to pay a betterment.
No better.
No, this is not done with public fund, it's done with private fund, so it's no cost to the public.
I move the question.
Okay,
what'd she say?
Before we vote,
Move.
Move the
I
question.
just want one clarification on the vote.
clarification.
Yes, on the article that's written, not as read, but is written, this was a non-binding vote. That was not read to my ears from the motion that was made. Is this a binding vote?
Yes.
That's what I want to make sure, thank you. Does the board, commissioners concur that this is a binding vote as read?
Yes.
Okay.
Advise.
Mr. Alonso, through the moderator, in the article, it says to advise the Board of Water Commissioners. So I would assume that it's a non-binding, but believe me, I think we'd be advised.
Okay, we all set? Vote?
What are we voting on?
One more time, quick clarification on what a yes vote means. That's up to the presenter to
That's Dave Rogers' motion.
Thank you. I'll reiterate it again. A yes vote simply says that everybody voting in the affirmative will have the commissioners understand what we want. And that is that we do not support collaboration or negotiation by the board with the owner of the Aero Estate property on Howard Street for provision of water to that property, while said property has not been included by due legal means within the district, whether such provision is direct or through an intermediate water take-up within the district or redistribution outside the district. So, in other words, this is not a way that he can circumvent the intent of the rules and regulations of the Lunenburg Water District and and not be able to provide any water to the property across the street because it's not in the district. It's in the district, it's a different story.
Okay, is that pretty clear for everybody?
Mr. Moderator, if I may?
So,
I know you're having everybody vote on this, but I guess what I'm asking the board is, and what Mr. Rogers has, I believe, said, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, so please don't misunderstand me. I've asked 3 questions. The first 2 say I can bring the water main at my sole expense that won't cost anybody any money to my property, to the district line, which is right here. Sorry, gentlemen. Which is right here. So I'm asking three different questions. Can I bring it to my house at 318 Howard Street? And it sounds like you said yes, because it's in the district. Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. The second one, can I bring it from 318 Howard Street to 390 Howard Street, which is the roadway that goes into my subdivision, to the district line? That's the second question. Third question, which I think I know everyone's answer to, is can I sell it to myself? So, I'm asking three different questions on this. I'd like three different answers if that's the case. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, well, that's,
Yes, no.
thank you, but
Please.
that's not part of the intent of
Right.
the article right now. In the word, so we're gonna stick with the article that's, before. Okay? All those in favor of Article 7, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Okay, the ayes have it.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Rogers.
could I ask for a show of hands and a count, please? For the record.
Okay. We'll go with all those in favor. Please raise your hand high so we can count.
I'm not voting.
Yep. We don't have to.
All those opposed, please raise your hand high. Okay, it'll be 76 for yes vote and 2 for no vote.
38.
38.
38.
76. He's a good moderator, not a mathematician.
Do my taxes?
You left this position.
Is he reading the
Okay, it'll be 38 for and 2 against. Okay, Article 7 is passed. Okay, now we're back to Article 1. The results of the ballot. We have 2 write-in votes for Dave Rogers. For Water Commissioner. 41 votes for Mark Burke for Water Commissioner and 41 votes for Jim Finch. Any other business to come before the district? If not, I'll accept the motion to,
Adjourn.
close this motion.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?